Yo, yo, yo. What is up, everyone? Wow, you guys are popping off in chat. How's everyone doing? Whoa, my hair, what's going on here? I need a haircut. That's what's going on. How are you guys doing? So, Fatal with the first. Apparently, the hype train is close. Alex Gamer, hello. Good to see you. Let's see what else we got going on here. Cram. Yo, Jamie, hey, thank you for the resub. Swathmore, hello. Alvin, sub. What's going on? Can I call you Subu? I like your name. Remy, hello. Jamie, yo, Shokri. How do I send my portfolio for review? Ooh, that's a good question. So right now you can use exclamation mark for it's like exclamation mark review, and you'll see the queue of people. We will be opening that up soon, but not today. I think it'll be next Thursday. I will open that up. I'll announce it in the Discord as well, and once it's open, you'll be able to fill out the form directly in that page, and I'll just make sure that it's there. Yeah, Keith, thank you. And from there, you can fill out yourself, and it'll put you in the queue. And there's a few months of people to go, but portfolio reviews happen every third Thursday. Let's say it like that. Yeah. Exile, what's up? BTVR, evening. Daha, how you doing? Bray, about to head into a meeting, but I'll be back in a bit. Have a good review. Oh, nice. Enjoy your meeting. Hopefully it's a good meeting. I actually quite enjoy meetings, which is weird, but I guess that's good because I'm a lead. I don't know. Jeffrey, what's going on? Polly Socks, good to see you. Joe Johnson, hola. David, what's good, man? Good to see you. So, Jamie and Twice Taste, thank you for the resubs. I'm curious, good to see you. Hello. I'm almost caught up on the messages. J Crew, thank you for the resub as well. Hello. You've been streaming as well. You're welcome to drop your Twitch URL in chat if you'd like. Let's see what else we got going on here. So happy to be back on the stream. I had so much work on Painter these few last weeks, but I'm really happy with the state of the release. Nice. Yeah, it's the release is pretty sick, man. The Painter updates are looking really fire, man. Maybe after we're done with the temple scene, we can focus on some individual props and really like look at materials and material definition. I think that could be quite an interesting change of pace. Raggedy, good to see you. Eat my laser, hello. Dope name. How you doing? All right. Should we get started? Curious, thank you for sharing J Crew's stream. Look at that smile. What a great photo. Let me get the Discord up. Man, I think that's the longest time in a long time that I've had to say hello for so long. It's good to see you guys. It's been weird not streaming. I had like a super long weekend, and it ate up both of the stream times that I would normally stream. But yeah, virtual, you like that? It's decent. I'm actually kind of impressed with how well it does, but yeah. So let me get some of your guys' work in place. There's already 13 posts. Is that for real? My God. Okay, I'm just gonna open these up. And we'll just go from there. Man, you guys are posting some great stuff in here. Man, David posting stuff too? What? Yo. Remy in here. Over. Would love some critique on my latest model. Oh, dude, cool. I'll look at it through. Let's see here. We'll figure this out. Man, you guys have outdone yourselves this time. Did I just give you guys enough warning? For like the stream coming? I've been saying like on Discord, I need a better way through Discord to give you guys the schedule so that you can see what's coming and what day it is, and you know. So I'll probably do it through Notion and make a command where you can see like ! schedule or something like that, or ! stream, and get the info. It'll also probably have Chris Rasby's stream in there as well, just to show what's going on. Discord events, I've tried that before and people didn't really respond to them very well. Not like in a negative way or anything, but you know. But let me change the music here for myself, and you're welcome to, man, hype train, let's go. Dude, that's awesome. Thank you guys. Let me get some music on for myself. You're welcome to put your own music on. This is one of the reasons I have the music office, so that you can kind of turn it into your own experience, or you can just hear me blab in your ear while you work on your stuff. Choo-choo. All right. So, first up, we've got Fatal. And let me know, I clicked on a bunch of stuff, so let me know if I missed someone. But let's get this rocking. You can see there's a ton of stuff to go through, so we might be a little short on some things. But Fatal, you were first in the stream, and now you're first in the stream critiques. So here's my first material created with Substance Designer. Would love to hear your overall feedback. This is the reference, right? Would love to hear overall feedback on it, about it. Also a presentation here itself. Here's a picture. I used this reference. Decided to go a little bit more dirtier with the ground and matching colors to each. Let's take a look here. Oh yeah, okay. So we look at the materials here, and then so with your reference, it's definitely much more like contrasted. So it's had a lot of post work going on, right? So we have to keep that in mind, of course. You've also got your cylinder render of it. So my initial feedback, I would say. So let me just take this in real quick here before I react. There's your normals. Okay, the cracks are pretty good. So when I look at this material, overall feels pretty good. It's a little overall quite soft, but I think that's the intention with how it is here. When we look at your let's see, your base color, we'll go base color, and then we'll look at your normal next, and then your roughness. So when we look at your base color, there's some pretty saturated values, and also it's quite deep, pretty saturated values. Anyways, I'm trying to say two things at once. So it's pretty saturated, and the values are quite low. So watching out for ranges where it becomes invalid. I believe Substance Designer has a node for flagging when something might be too dark, or too saturated, and then saying that it's PBR invalid. Some choices you've made, it looks like you're doing far less on the green, like the green little like grass and mossy details that are coming through in the reference. But yeah, I would say it's saturation and value. Keep those a little bit more in check, and I think you'll be heading closer to a more realistic range. When I look at these stones, they're pretty level, but I think your reference is quite level. These are quite old, so like the edges are really softened. So when you see it in your normals, your edges are also quite soft, which is good. I think getting some variance in the height of the dirt could help, or the grout, if you want to say it like that. Having it build up a bit like you have it here, maybe having that happen a bit more. I think I need to see it on like a surface tiled a couple times just to get a feeling of like what it looks like. But the normal looks pretty nice. Like there's a good range in there, and the edges all seem to be catching in a nice way. They're not too steep, so they have like a nice fall off to them. If we look at your roughness, I think this is where you could probably make the most improvements. So thinking about, so you have roughness range that we always talk about, like pushing your roughness range so that you get the most out of your roughness, right? Because in reality, a surface is only as complex as the way the light bounces off of it and hits your eyeball, right? And what I'm seeing here, we talk about roughness range and getting the most range. We also want to keep it inside of like a bracket, right? So your dirt, for example, or the grout is going to be in a bracket, and it can you try and get as much range as you can inside of that because you don't want it to go all over the place or it gets kind of crazy. That being said, thinking about ways of showing where moisture is, that can affect your albedo's saturation value, and maybe that's why your dirt, you were pushing for more deeper values and like a more rich color. But I'm only seeing kind of like two phases of information where it's like you've got your stone, your pebbles, and then your dirt. Seeing like what the leaves look like in here would be really good. Like the little green bits here. I wonder if those are, yeah, so those almost aren't represented at all. So think about like, instead of like a noise on like a per, so you've got a noise happening on each stone, but I would also take like an overall value shift. Yeah, it's like a little mossy, leafy thingies. Taking a value shift per stone that goes up and down inside of that range as like your macro shift in roughness, and then keeping this kind of like micro information that you've got going on here is really nice. That'll help get a lot of like variation at like a really subtle level. When we look at your ambient occlusion, what I would actually suggest doing is avoiding really strong ambient occlusion. These little pits here would never actually like cast any type of darkening unless the light was extremely low, right? You have to remember, like, this texture as it shrinks will become more and more gray, which means that if your albedo in the game engine you're using is displaying itself in shadow, that would mean that your material by default will be that much darker while in shadow. So it can give you a false understanding of like what the material is or how dark or bright it is. Small grassy stuff. Do you like it? Yeah. Height map looks pretty good. It feels like it might be a little wobbly, but I think that's represented pretty well in what's going on here. Like, I want to zoom in here real quick and see this type of like variance in your color. You should also be getting that type of variation in your dirt. Like even the little blades of moss could have subtle shifts in value and saturation just to get them separating each other, even on like an albedo level. Because this looks pretty good, and it's areas like this where they become quite flat that you have to then rely on just your roughness and rely just on your normal map. Oh, thank you. I'm double drinking now. But yeah, pretty nice and quite impressive for a first material, because you're expanding pretty deep into how you're approaching things, and the techniques that you've built or learned and are now putting into play will only go further now that you've understood what's happening and how to place these in just the crevices, for example. So I'm assuming you created a bunch of these and then you're scattering them or splattering them inside of a mask to try and keep them inside the crevices. Bit of tequila, bit of water. It's citron. Okay, it's flavored water. Voice chat says hello. Hello, voice chat. I hope you guys are lurking. Got to give me those numbers. I need them numbers. But yeah, nice job, Fatal. Hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, just poke me. I'll be around. Okay, next up, I think it's this one. Yes, look at this thing. This is CG DJ. Here's my latest whip. Wondering if I could get some feedback on how to improve my texturing and presentation. But as always, all feedback is appreciated. I mean, it's a cool idea. It's quite strong. I think for me to see what's going on, my initial reaction is that your roughness is too simple. But that could just be me not seeing something. That's why it's like, if I could see a texture map, that would be really helpful. But like, for example, in here, there's not a lot of interaction happening between the elements, right? So like all the little pieces that are there, all these little, where they connect, where they meet, how they affect each other, what moves, does anything touch and like scrape anything? Is it like getting all of that information in there? That's where it really pushes. And yeah, I would say the lighting is very overall. And I think a strong directional light is actually the same. I would say the same as something I forgot to say with this material is getting a strong directional light will give you a stronger presentation. 2 or 3 point lighting for single asset presentations is going to be really key. This asset is based on the idea of TF2 power jack with the style change to strive for a realistic approach. My main objectives for this project are to really push my texturing skills and general art skills. So if you could edit your posts and add like a roughness render and like a metalness render, that could be good. Because like you can see the roughness here and the roughness on the sticker, to me right now look the same. Depending on what this is made out of, like this tape could be, like you need more range in your roughness. There's a lot of different materials going on. I think this edge here could really benefit from a nice bevel. These bolts, like screw details, are big enough that they should just be modeled. Even if it's that normal map, pushing it in, you want to be careful about how close it is to the edge, because like manufacturing wise, that's you're asking for something to break. And any opportunities to model things in a little bit, like this could be pushed in or be sticking out a little bit more. Oh, nice. Okay. Let's get this up here. Dude, we got so many things to go through. I hope I can get to all of you guys. Yeah, so see, generally speaking, everything is quite dirty. If we removed all the dirtiness in your roughness, everything would be around the same range, right? And I think what you want to do is, before doing the dirtiness pass, is really think about the roughness difference between each element based on the type of material they are. And from there, then you can start to dirty it up. And when I look at the dirtiness that's in the roughness, there's some stuff that's quite good, like this information here. But then, like, for example, on the tape, why is there dirtiness here but not like I guess you would expect the dirtiness to be more on like the contact points, and the tape generally to be much more reflective. It's also a good opportunity to think about, like, okay, if there's any moisture, wetness, or like very like very rough materials like rust or something like that, those are excuses to go extreme in the high points or the low points. So like droplets of water can go into the low values, and they're explained because you see them, you know the shape, you immediately go, oh, okay, this is water, and it becomes clear to the eye. You don't have to explain it, right? And then with rust and things that are really rough like that, those give you an excuse to go extremely high in the roughness value without having to explain it. Oh, Maru's getting excited out there. But yeah, there's a lot of like just like the general noise or cloudiness, dirtiness that you've got in the roughness map. I would remove that and really put it where you want those details to pop. It's interesting that these are so different from each other, like the sticker and the body itself, because I actually don't know what this type of material is. I'd have to look up like a battery, a car battery to see, but they look very similar. One thing that tends to happen depending on your budgets and depending on what type of game you're building. Hey, thank you for the resub. Super appreciate it. 13 months now. So this is supposed to be plastic. Okay. And then this is either really reflective or really diffused, right? And depending on the budget of your game, this can also be like an alpha cutout. That's a separate mesh that's then placed on top. And there's a very clear, distinct roughness difference between it. Now, we are seeing a big roughness difference in yours, but you're not seeing it in the render. And this has to do with the lighting that we were talking about earlier. Getting those glancing angles to be able to see the difference between roughness types in your model is really going to help. This looks pretty good. And I think, again, the tape could be more reflective. I think the environment that it's reflecting back as well is maybe a little too diffused or artificial. So overall, it just feels evenly lit. So you're missing out on all of the benefits of your normal maps and all the benefits that the variance in your roughness are giving you. This area looks pretty good, and the difference between this and this, like the painted metal, and I think that's painted metal, and then the plastic here. But yeah, you can see it, like it feels like there's some stuff missing here. Maybe some grease or something, some discoloring, or where it gets a little bit dirty, but you can't really clean it very easily, but it's been cleaned, you know? So there's a little crevice buildup. Crusties, we call them the crusties. But I appreciate you posting the roughness so we can look at it a little bit closer. All right, hopefully that was helpful. Is it Jane? Jane is next. Let's see here. Oh, right, your reference too. This is great that you're looking at material types. Pay attention to how things are receiving light, because you can like see in your reference down here, you see the roughness difference between this tape and like say the C4 block itself. There's a huge range difference in that, and the lighting that's being displayed on it is giving you those highlights. That's the type of detail that you would want to be getting on your tape, I think. But yeah, okay. Oh, this is, yo, this is cool. All right, so you're really going for nailing the concept. That's really cool. Okay, so first of all, this is 2 days of work, so that's pretty sick. You're really good at nailing the initial feeling that is displayed in the work. So if we look at this one and oh, dinosaur. Oh god. Let me copy this. I'm scared to paste. Hang on here. Hang on. Wait a minute. Always scared to paste for whatever reason. You never know what's in your paste bucket, you know what I mean? What if it's work stuff? Oh god. Oh god. You should put a dinosaur in this environment. You should have a dinosaur head sticking out of this. They built this house around a dinosaur. That sounds cool, right? Let's copy this one now and bring this into Photoshop. So, man, that color matching is pretty impressive. Okay, so some of the stuff I want to focus on. So, of course, I'm just painting with my mouse, so forgive me. My mouse skills can be pretty rough sometimes. Right. So think about, I'm going to draw on this like it's geometry, and then it meets this edge, right? So this isn't flat, right? This is like, this has this depth to it that kind of like, this goes up and then it's up here as well. This meets this point and then climbs up quite a bit more, right? So there's a lot of lift happening here. This is on top. This is going up between the pieces. So you're getting a little bit of that, but you can see like your ground stops pretty abruptly. I think lifting it and giving yourself some more room can work wonders for giving you the depth to really feel like, and it might just be that the camera's low, but I think you could benefit from really having like a little bit more ground here before it dips into the water. That does a lot. Oh no, lighting bot. I'm so sorry. But yeah, we look at the shape language that's going on when it comes to. Let me erase this now. The shape language that we see in the grass, for example, this stuff here. You get these like fuzzy, squiggly details. Right now, you're going with really broad, like single directional cards. I would really commit to like sampling this language, and that's your card. And then get a card that does this. Get a card that just does this stuff here. Get a card that is doing this. A card doing this thing. You know, you've got this little back one here. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of opportunities to like get some variance in there. There's this low grass that's not even, it's kind of like bent over and curling over the stuff. Poly socks. But you can see look at the directionality language that's happening in the concept, and that'll give you a lot of inspiration for how to like push your grass further. Also look at the variance of color, right? So when we go in here, let's just erase this and we'll just sample a bit. Look at the colors that are going on, and really try and play with those values. And when you get close to the water, you can get more smudgy like this stuff. But you can see how everything is pretty close to this palette. And I mean, I think you're close to there. It's just pushing those details. The lily pads as well. Don't be scared to shrink them down, because getting those smaller details will really help like emphasize the scale and push perceived fidelity, if you want to say it like that. Yeah, I recognize those cards. Don't be afraid though. Don't be afraid to cut the amount of blades in the alpha in half, because if you need more blades, just place more cards. You'll get much more complexity that way, and the grass will look more natural, not so planar. Even like curving those planes, you'll still see the plane because most of it is visible through the alpha, right? So if you cut the grass count in half in the alpha itself, you're gonna get a huge boost in quality. This situation here can probably, I'm like trying to figure out how you would do this, because it's gonna be a combination of things, right? But like getting some grass blades that do this, and then you've got that squiggly one that's here, and then I would build a few texture sheets of like different grass types to just really like put these together. But when we look at like how you're matching things, it's kind of crazy. You can see there's a lot more darkness happening in here. Of course, it's painted, but really getting that kind of depth is going to be really, really nice. Don't hesitate to make this top edge. What am I doing? There we go. Make this top edge here a mesh, and then another mesh under it for like the slats that are under the thing, under the rooftop, because this will help with that layering and really get it adding that depth. Like look at there's like you can model a little hole in there and then just push a little like cylinder coming through. Have this one coming up. You can model this. Like there's a lot of like detail that I would definitely model. Let's see what. Yeah, see you're getting there. But it's sick. It's really cool. And it's, it's just a matter of continuing to push the information. Of course, like the building in the back as a block out, I wouldn't tilt it too much. Make it look like it's still usable. And really lean into your grass for fluffing up the hill. Because you are really nailing the painterly effect. It's just the elements where its geometry is really apparent right now. Let's see if we highlight those and then you look here. There's a lot of stuff happening that just kind of hide. I know it's 2D, but those are the details that you can lean on to hide that fidelity of it's geometry. This will mask it out, Really impressive though. Let me see what else we can. I mean, I think that's it. This is quite intriguing. I would definitely do some of this type of detail with the little, I don't know what these are, like the little flowers. A little bit of blue in there too, which is quite interesting. But yeah. And don't be afraid to make things thin. If they need to go thinner just to get the look, go for it. And of course, this is straight-ish, right? Don't be afraid to bend things, Like if you could add like 3 cuts here and then just do a soft select on this spot and just pull that down and maybe grab this one, the soft select, and pull this up, you're going to break those like laser straight 3D look. It starts to go away really fast. And you can see here even there's some curve to these. Don't hesitate to add bend and curve into your work. Just because it adds a little bit more geometry. It should be fine. Should be fine. You can see all of your board pieces are very uniform. Commit to the thinner pieces. Commit to variation. And really lean into your silhouettes. Like I see you doing it here, but you can see how chunky and blocky your stuff is. You can see this one's smaller than this one, and they're much smaller. Getting that variation is going to be that variance. It's key. I think it'll be key to really like nail the piece. Because they're just thicker in some cases, or like this thickness. Half that. And then what's happening in the background there? You can probably just get this edge softer like that with just a doff. A push on your depth of field. Really cool though. Really, really nice. I hope that was helpful. All right, let's check out Dino. So, hey Dynasty, I hope you're having I was hoping on some feedback on this preparation phase for one of my projects I'm currently making. I can't say that. A Fisticosaurus. I love this whole like job, like spikes coming out. Sick. A cute dinosaur that's lived in a swamp. I have the sculpt and have a good grasp on how to proceed onto a finished model. The feedback I would like, oh man, this is detailed requests here, that I would need is more geared towards the preparation of the environment, a swamp. Any idea how to find references on an ancient plant? I think knowing the ancient plant that you're looking for, or looking into the period, like which period of time. It says 67, is that million or meso? I don't know. But I would start broad and then narrow down from there. How can I quantify what I need? Models and materials. I took some wildlife photos as reference. Is there? Let me see what's going on here. We got some references here. Oh, look at that cute face. Man, this is cool with the little fin in the back here. This is definitely saying like, hey, I deal with water a lot. Oh my God, the baby's so cute, and the weird little tuft of grass on their tail. Um, I mean, think about what you want to display. Is it like at the edge of a swamp to drink some water? Like, what's the story? Blocking that type of stuff out. Looking up references of swamps. Swamps haven't changed all that much. It's mainly the fauna that has shifted. That's I think that's where your reference starts to kick in, right? Where you're like, okay, what's the types of plants around the swamp? And I don't really know how to describe or look into that. I would start broad, start looking into foliage of that time period, and then from there start to narrow down like areas that may have had, because like, were there swamps then? Like, how did they, like, if this was around swamps, it would have, there should be references that are depicted, like drawings of them by swamps, right? Also look at Joe Johnson in chat says, also look at what species of plant and things native to the period. If there's anything similar still around today and what you can use as reference, then make some slight adjustments as and when it's needed. Oh, that's a really good. Things haven't changed too much. Usually the things that are different is they're a little bit smaller now, or they tend to be smaller, the foliage or fauna, just because it's not as oxygen, like everything was so oxygen rich, right? That things were just huge across the board. But I kind of want you to start a thread. I want to see and kind of dig around into this whole reference digging, because like this type of reference gathering is very. We're losing our oxygen, Sage. Is it Sage or sad to age? Well, yeah, be careful with dinosaurs, because recently I discovered that a lot of them have feathers on them. Faltera, how you doing? Good to see you. But when I look at the sculpt looks pretty cool. I think when you're thinking about the environment that you want your dinosaur to be in, think about what you want to say. Like, is it like at the edge of a swamp that's drinking water? Does it have babies with it? Like, okay, it's at the edge of a swamp. Are there lily pads? Were there lily pads then? Like, think about all the stuff that you kind of want to like propagate around on the terrain. What is usually around a swampy environment as well? Because you could lean into like what's familiar to us when it comes to swampy, and then bring in some foliage or fauna that's accurate to the period, or scaled in a way where it feels old, like long ago, you know. But yeah, that's a tough question to answer. Man, that's totally chicken feet going on there. That is so weird. It's a dinosaur rooster thing. Nice, Joe. Nice, Joe. Oh my God. Brutal. Look at, dude, that's sad face right there. Well, it had feathers, potentially. Potentially it did. I think I'm going to move on, but I feel like this topic is not done. So I'm going to keep going, but I think you could start a channel and add a few people that feel like being added in it, and they'll just jump in there and they can help you kind of gather a few things. I think it'd be a nice little like group effort if you're up for it. All right, look at this, Shokri, buddy. I want to know is this scene good, and where do I need to be careful next time? I don't mind harsh critique as long as it's true. Nice. So right off the bat, this looks pretty cool. Horizon's Call. Hello, everyone. I'm thrilled to share my winning entry, Horizon's Call, for the Onyx Academy launch challenge. The theme was New Beginnings. Dynasty being truthful. Let's dig into this. So this shot feels framed strangely. There's a lot of space over here. Like, can I copy that and just, does this work? If I just like, I feel like you could do this and it's already, oh man, what am I doing? It's already stronger, you know? Is this me? Did I do that? No. That tangent is brutal. Like I'd be careful with this type of like right on the edge of the frame. I thought, looking at this chair, I actually thought that this chair was clipping into the ground because I didn't realize they could go this low before meeting the ground. Like to me, that just feels very strange. Like I'd expect this detail here to be up here. You know? That was a creepy fake laugh. So those types of details. There's some other things where it's like, if we look at modeling, like these edges are extremely like laser sharp. This looks like a really nicely textured block out. Greenwave, what's up? How you doing? It does, huh? That's done by reference. Man, that's super strange. So weird. It feels very low to the ground. I don't know, like even in the reference, is the seat actually that low to the ground? Were we just shorter in New Beginnings? Is that what happened? There's some disconnects where like this is lighter than this, so you get this illusion of like floating. Feels a little strange. The rug could probably be higher res or approached a little differently texturally. Like maybe in the shader you would do this, and then provide it a texture, and then it would do the pattern for you. So like a shader that does a woven work, which is, I know it's pretty extreme. What I'm saying is it's just low res looking right now. Maybe a detail normal that was a little bit stronger could do it. But again, in the grand scheme of like balancing the shot, that's kind of the stuff you want to look into. Oh, Shokri messaging me. Oh, see? That's weird, man. That's so weird. I love the aging on this. I'll say that. But okay. Hold on here. There is some shape language that's going on that is causing the feeling I'm talking about. So even with this being lower, you can see the heights. This is extremely nitpicky here, but this is rectangular, right? And this detail's rectangular. This helps with a lot of like natural spacing that you see in design. It even like, so it goes a little bit higher here. But just highlighting these shapes. And then we go to yours. You can see this one's really square. This one is also maybe a little square as well. So it doesn't really feel like it's got the room to do what it's trying to do. Like it feels forced. That's why it feels like it's pushed into the ground. I can see you've got it here. But let's remove that and just kind of look at this. I'm happy to see that you can push the chair in and it'll go under the table. This is something that I will instantly be like, yo, what? Why? Why can't you push this under the table? But man, I can't imagine sitting on that and being able to use this table. Like that's so low. It's crazy. Table looks pretty nice. There maybe could be like a roughness variance in like all of the little details on here, but I'm assuming it has to do with the lighting because you tend to be quite good with your roughness. Let me go back here. Oh no. Oh, there we go. A lot of this stuff I feel like is just really like the normals that are on the books and like are really strong. Maybe they could be tiled a bit more and then toned down, maybe half strength, just so that you can see it's there. But yeah. Normals on the page, like I don't know if you need the normal lines on there. Maybe lower in strength as well. There's a lot of like noise going on here. These are very difficult to handle sometimes. We've got parchment that feels like it's floating. Your contact shadows are rendering a little strange when it comes to this area here. Let me see here. This feels pretty good. I don't know. There's a lot going on here with like no like contact stuff going on. Like it almost feels like there's no ambient occlusion happening, or some like shadowing beyond just the shadows themselves. This is unreal. It's interesting though because there's certain element like the table looks really solid, but then all of the information on top is very very busy. Like this, you've figured out how to make wooden furniture and chairs and tables and stuff. When it comes to other materials like this one feels strange to me. It feels like the normal's too strong and the color is odd. Yeah, there's a lot of like weirdness when it comes to the materials. Like this feels really clean by comparison of like what's going on here. So they kind of feel like they're a little bit in a different like they've had a different level of detail work on them. Some weird green. Yeah, I recognize this material. It's supposed to be like a green. It feels like maybe it's a little too dusty. Oh, Madu's getting ready to go outside. Let's look at a little bit more here. Yeah, maybe the paper could also have a little bit more geometry. Oh man, I'm gonna just keep scrolling here. It might just be your roughness, normals, and albedo, because here it looks pretty good. These light sources, in chat might have something to say about this, but these I don't know what the candle cast, like shadows from candles, like how quickly do those diffuse out, you know? Like they're razor sharp here, but I feel like they would soften really quickly. What are you doing, Madu? You're supposed to go outside, dude. But yeah, when we see only like the detail lighting, see, these look pretty good on their own. Maybe there's a little, again, maybe too much normal strength on the paper, so it's a little too parchmenty You want to say it like that? Oh, this is cool. I think compositionally, if this was wider, it would lend itself to a better framing. But the focus is definitely on the table. I like how this stuff is very not visible when we're looking at the final renders. Because like you shouldn't be focusing like all this lighting that's casting back here. I wouldn't even have that back there. Have everything focused here. Or if this is back there, it's really blurred, like in the shapes that it's casting. And then there's also not so right now it feels very CG, right? It's very like super laser cut. Let me just scroll through here a little bit. Yeah, the table slaps, man. This is so it's so hard edged. I don't know about you, but the wood grain all going the same direction. I guess they're offset, so that's working. I'm not seeing like the pattern continue through, so maybe it's okay. Maybe the frame is just added on top, and this is just the continuation. Oh, this is nice. You can see the contrast difference of the metal here on the barrels, and those are the darkest thing in this shot. There's nothing else like working in that same range. And for that, this starts to feel a little bit more stylized here, whereas the rest feels a little bit more grounded. And I'd almost say there's nothing like mid-low range in the value on the crate. So it feels very, everything is just slightly disjointed from each other. And it leads to some like visual dissonance between how the assets kind of talk to each other while they're next to each other. Like these barrels basically start to look like very oh man, I mean, think of a stylized game. It almost feels like they're cell shaded on the edges, like they've got the rim edge, and then this is just almost unlit feeling. You know what I mean? So there's a difference there. Whenever you're thinking about paintings, remember to keep the darkest values in the painting still in the PBR range. These paintings might be a little too contrasty, so the range is really making them feel outside of the the PBR model. So they feel like photos. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, this is definitely your best piece yet when it comes to like building a full scene. Super, super nice. It's just highlighting all the little things to get better at or tweak or adjust. Like I love this. There's some casting going here. Everything just feels like it's got like dust on it or like a wash that's really masking you appreciating like this almost looks like a detail lighting pass. Like I can't really see much of the albedo or the color of the materials. There's just a few spots where it happens. So something to keep in mind. Oh, and with the sphere of the planet of Earth, right? Getting a metal element on there for an equator could be pretty interesting. You get a nice little highlight that goes across the edge. It might be the lighting, because from this side, this is feeling pretty good. Let me just scroll down here, see if we get any... Okay, so we didn't get any breakdowns. I want to see your wireframes, man. I need to see texture sheets. Like, just pick a few things. Maybe the table, the globe or something, or like the lantern, barrel. Just a few things to help me understand where you're at in your understanding of PBR. But yeah, nice job, dude. Nice job indeed. All right. Okay, so so this is the reference. And I'm happy I can I can be honest with you, Shokri. So this is you definitely took pictures. I see your presence, or I'm assuming that's you. You can see the game dev posture from here. You know, it looks just like my posture. Kim, what's up? How you doing? Let me sit on my leg because that's good for you. The gamer neck. I mean, that this person clearly no scopes all day. So we're looking at this. Is this image and this image? Oh, that's not the. Wait, where am I? What? Did I like lose my? I lost my spot, guys. Oh my god, no. And now there's no. We're in dinosaur territory again. Okay. Oh, scary. Are these? What are we looking at here? It's all going wrong. I knew I missed someone's. Okay, I'll get yours next. Let me do this. My god. Wild guess. Oh, I guess wrong. Why? And now it's way up here? Oh my god. Okay, hang on. I'm killing some things. Sorry, you got flashbanged. Let me just make sure. Flashbanged again. Apologies. I'm just gonna tear these out so we... Okay. Alright, yeah. Cool. I'm totally fine. I can see, guys. I can see. It's gonna be fine. Okay, so this is your reference for sure. I need to know, are these are both Substance Designer. I can see the leaves. So what I want to say is interesting. This one's like really, it's like a different lighting model. Let's just dump that here. Let's grab this one. No, please. There we go. Yeah, the fact that I had to look a little closer to be able to tell is says volumes about your work here. Let's grab this one. So this image has definitely been like, I don't know, it feels very contrasted. Maybe it's getting processed in some way. Oh, come on, man. My tab game is off today. We're gonna look at. So I think what I'm seeing, like, you've got all of these. I have to highlight something, right? We have to point out something. So all these little micro edges, maybe they're just a tad too strong. Because I'm sure they're there in real life. But you wanna keep them to like the main. Oh my god. You want to keep them to the large shapes. I assume, like these could be the strong ones. So those could have the strength that I'm seeing here. But the smaller ones can be like half the strength. He's lost the plot. Where's my script, guys? Color-wise, I mean, I don't know how different like this piece is. Like this photo. I mean, the information's there. I see it. But you can see there's like large ones. I don't know. Maybe it could be just a hair smoother, but it could also have to do a lot with just the way it's lit, right? Because when we look at this one, like that one's like this one here, I don't know. Let me camera raw this bad boy. I think if you were to just shift the temperature a little bit, it would instantly be in the same territory, but more realistic. Like this one feels a bit heavy on saturation. Whereas this one feels quite natural once you turn the temperature up a bit. Yeah, like this one feels like everything is having the color happening in it, right? This kind of like warm value. Whereas this one, just by shifting the temperature a little bit, of course we're adding warmth to everything when we do that. But there's still elements of cooler colors in here. So there's a lot of like, man, this is sick, dude. I really like this material. I wonder if the environment that you're reflecting back in the material could be cooler. That way you get some hits of like a blue sky in the reflection or something like that. You want to see the spaghetti nodes. This is pretty impressive, man. Like, yeah, this is pretty sick. I want to see, yeah, I want, this material is pretty cool. There's some variants where you're like, oh, how is that? Like, this just travels across. But, I mean, that's kind of how that works, right? These get a little artificial. Making sure to not, like, add the little edge around these could be important. Let the lighting do the work for you and, like, exclude these from the ambient occlusion pass almost. You know, because then they only make themselves apparent when the light is forcing the normal or is actually casting a shadow. Like these are very emphasized, almost as if they're like boils. Gross, but you know what I'm saying. And the addition of the leaves on there, I would err on the side of maybe taking the leaves and shifting the color away from the warmth that you're getting from the rest of the scene, just to give you some variation. And add a human touch, man. Put a cigarette butt in here. Just, you know. Why not? We've been everywhere, right? We've been all over this planet. Or maybe some like wet footprints from someone who stepped in that and then walked away. A paw print would be sick. I'm down. But really impressive. I don't have too much else I can say on this. Oh, they're near a beach in your hometown? Dude. I want close-ups of this. Yeah, doggo footprints would be pretty cool. Kiwi footprints? Okay. Let's, where is it this one? Is this the one? Corbevel? Is this the one that I missed? Yeah, David, that's really impressive. I haven't seen a material that slapping since, honestly, that's some Ben Wilson stuff going on there. I get Ben Wilson vibes looking at that thing. But it's its own. It doesn't look like Ben Wilson's work. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we've got this little dude. Shout out the Game Assembly. Let's go. I'm happy to see you guys posting in the Discord. These guys are local to. I guess I'm local to them. Let me put it that way. Ben is the go. he's pretty freaking good, man. So let's scroll through here a bit. Just kind of take in the sights. Yo, that's some attention. So I don't really know where to go with this type of content. So we see these materials. My brain immediately goes, this is way too high res texture-wise to be real-time. The fact that it's 4096 is actually quite impressive considering how much information I'm seeing here. So it's leading me to think that maybe the textile density is maybe smaller in some areas than others, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I can never tell, like, okay, should I be feedbacking on, like, you need to be able to do this with like a 1024, right? How do I, like, this looks sick, and it's more of like, is this a material study? So first portfolio piece. Wait, what did you say? Something in a, would love some overall feedback on this. I'd like to push my modeling skills further. What kind of props should I focus on? Oh, that's interesting. So first off, this first image, really nice. Maybe the paint is slightly too reflective. Like that element is pulling it out of the scene a little bit. But I mean, look at this. Like, is this, like, it's almost like you want it to be just a little bit out of focus, so it's not so sharp. Because this back here, all of this stuff looks like a photo almost, you know? When we look at the material work overall is quite good. There's some nice variation in your roughness. The paint peeling away is really nice. The information that's under the paint but is covered by paint is reading really well. Like the nice bevels of the text here. I would almost, like, where the text meets the body, soften that just a little bit. So it's got that kind of bubbly, I painted over this feel to it still. We go down through here. I don't, like, this is pretty cool. I feel like if you're going to be going like this all out, I would actually model the ribs to this and not bake them. Especially if you're going that rounded on these bulbs, like, you've committed. You have committed to the geo. How many texture sets? It says 1,496. You get that 4096 in there. So what we are not seeing is the textures. And I think when you go this nuts, we should put the textures in there. You got told for modeling ridges? What? I mean, if you're going this close, it's all about context. I think that's the most important takeaway from something like this. It's all about context. Is this supposed to be in a game? Or is it just like a modeling and material like push? You know what I mean? Is it a presentation about your ability to recreate stuff? Because, like, if you're getting told off for that, I would tell you that this 15,000 needs to be 7,000. This is a model and texture push. So for me, I would model that. At least, like, get some silhouette shift in there. Ooh. This. I love this. That's super nice. That's super nice. Yeah, this would be close up first person cinematic asset. Oh. Mm-hmm. Do you see how much fidelity retains for how long? Man, this is really cool that you posted this. Because I think dropping it down to a 1024. Let me see here. I'm looking here. So at 1024, it starts to break around this area. But I think a 1024 would be good enough for if it was going into a game. And it was a first-person game, maybe a 2K. But you don't lose too much. Roughness does so much for you. So generally speaking, this looks really good. The graphics and alpha logo made in Illustrator. Oh man, dude, the commitment. The textile density is around 100 pixels per meter. Oh, interesting. What is the padding? Yeah, I'd be curious. This looks great though. I mean, generally, it's really nice. You're asking for like what kind of props should you be focusing on? It's do you want to be a props artist or do you want to be an environment artist? Eight's good for 2048 if I remember correctly, or for 4K. Props? I would find some. I would model an asset that people are more familiar with, because then they'll have certain things they're looking for that they'll recognize, and that'll help them really understand your understanding of content or like what you've built. Um, but yeah, hmm, what else could you be building? Do you feel that this piece shows advanced modeling? Not necessarily. I feel like this piece shows to me that you understand PBR and you know how to get a material to look like a certain material. Like the glass bulbs in the back, they're acting a little like thick, like solid glass, but maybe that's I don't know, maybe that's how they are. I think your material game is on point. It could maybe dirty up a bit more, but I mean, you're getting it in there. That side detail, I would love to see more of this type of wear in some other areas. Um, you have to remember that this shuts, so like that edge where it shuts is going to get a lot of wear. I would say this is, I wouldn't say advanced modeling, but I would be convinced that you know how to model things. If I had you make a tank, like a really high quality, high poly tank and bake it down, I think it would be a challenge for you, but I also think that you'd be up for the challenge. Does that make sense? And I don't think you would fail at it. It might take you a while though. It's a big task. But I wouldn't worry about how advanced your modeling needs to be or how like advanced your materials need to be. Continue to try and recreate things or create things that exist, like recreating stuff, pushing the fidelity and trying to make things look better and better. It's just build the things you want to build. Don't look for the thing that looks more advanced. Build it because you want to build it, and it will show in your work. You'll be able to do it longer, and yeah, I think that's the fastest way to personal growth and longevity as an artist. Mamori, how you doing? Really cool, really cool. If you have more questions, poke me. Happy to answer. All right, we're getting in here. We got 45 minutes. I think we can do it. I think we can do it. So, this is you, Remy. You're Nico? Oh, you're Nico. I don't remember when I changed the name. Oh, okay. Hello, thank you. Some shots from the newest medieval environment blockout. Overwatch inspired. Can you please give me your thoughts on composition, building, shapes, and layout? I know it's still blockout. It's a perfect time to be talking about this type of stuff because with blockout, it's very easy to move things around and not like it's not painful, you know? Building shapes, layout. I know it's still blockout. It doesn't feel like Overwatch, or is it too soon? My hero shots. My hero shot has a massive arch. If that's the one you like to focus on, let's take a look here. So right off the bat, don't build your other shots. Don't waste your time on those ones. Not because they're not good, but it's just going to spread your time out. Focus on this one shot. This can be really strong. Yeah, I really like this one. So I haven't looked Yeah, it's project creep for sure with those other shots. This shot, however, you could take it all the way. Like this would be a boss. Like this would be a sick scene. I have not looked at enough Overwatch to be able to comment on how Overwatch it may feel. I assume there's some exaggerations in shapes. If you want to edit your post and add any references that you're looking at, that might help me. I was having so much fun. We'll see how much fun you're having when you're trying to build every one of those shots. Yeah, just edit your post and you should be able to add it to your existing post. Yeah, there's just more to cover and it'll crush you slowly. It's like a snake, just like that. I'll get you. So when we look at this compositionally, I really like this shot. Let's grab this. What is happening? It's really high res, isn't it? It is. So, I don't know if this is gonna grab, but let's try. Kinda. Thanks. What? Okay, I don't know what's happening. Oh. Okay. I'm just gonna grab all this. And sure. Okay, maybe I can do it now. Give me that. Yes. Give me this. No. Yes. Okay. Kind of there. We kind of got it. So I'm just going to paste this. I think moving this here. And then we'll just paint this out here really quickly. Giving you some more room will help a lot. I don't know if you can tell with my sick painting skills. It's fine. I got this. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. There it is. Cool. But yes, getting you that space is going to go a long ways. A long ways. There we go. Perfect. Nailed it. So giving you that room. Now, compositionally, now this feels quite good. I think this tower here, there's something going on here that I like, but I also feel like could be stronger. So these two buildings are they're very level to each other, or like parallel to each other. Taking this bottom piece, maybe pushing it further back, and then taking the whole building. Maybe let's take the bottom piece and push it back. I would take this building, push it a little bit back as well to give yourself some more room for this tower, because I think this tower could be it could be cool, but it also needs to be on its own. You know, I'm not gonna even try to make this work, but I think you get it. Oh my God. Okay, don't try, Din. Don't try. Yeah, as I continue trying. I know what I'm doing. But getting the tower kind of separating itself from the rest of the structure, really going to help. Really going to help, I think. You don't want it to overshadow the building here. So even this early on, like let's just like, there we go. I'll take it. Even with it here, I would definitely push it back with your atmosphere. Right? So if you take this and... Oh, what did I just press? Oh, God. We take that and push it back in the fog. it'll help you separate your scene a bit from the rest of the environment. So if that can go back in space, that'll help a lot. Man, I am not. This is not working today. Why? Anywho, I think you get the point. Just gonna do that, and then we'll just. There we go. There we go. Because, I mean, when we look at this archway, that's the focus, right? Getting, like, looking at the heights of your sidewalks. These elements really need to assist you in what you're trying to display, and not like screw with the scale too much, if that makes sense. So, making sure your sidewalks are thinner. If they need to be exaggerated that way, I think that's fine. It's really, like, even though it's a Overwatch styled map, making sure that your characters look like they go through the doors that exist is going to be important. So your scale could be really strange right now, and getting that in line is going to be important, I think. But yeah. Otherwise, I would cut the other shots, just focus on this one, and make this archway the sickest archway you've ever made. Yeah, this guy was standing around when they paved, and, well, he's going nowhere now. Where are you going? You're going nowhere. Where are you going? Half nowhere. Really cool. Really, really cool. Is there a chance I can post the paint over and... do you want to take a screenshot of this? It's really beautiful, I tell you what. I can do this. Let's see if Discord explodes. But yeah, let's get on to the next one. There are more people posting. There's no way I'm getting to all of you, I think. But that is okay. It happens. So let's jump back into this. Look at this. I feel like we're okay. No, we're good. This character looks really cool. Wookie, what's up, man? I see you laughing. Man, this is a cool character. I'm scared scrolling through this. Not gonna lie. Wow. Okay, give me one second. Flashbang. I'm just gonna scroll through this really quickly so I don't cry. I would have cried. But you did a really good job with the breakdowns. I'm gonna drop this in the chat in case you guys want to check it out yourselves. Really nice work. I appreciate the fact that there's UVs in there. You've done your wireframe breakdowns. Character looks really good. The props that are involved with the character are super nice. The materials are pretty on point. Hair looks dope. The sacrificial knife, for anyone who has not seen it, is really, really cool. This is extremely high res. All this stuff. The metal maybe could use some work. Seeing his life flash before his eyes. Wouldn't be the first time, man. I remember I opened up an image on here that was horrible. And I'm surprised Twitch did not kill me. But yeah, I think for you, the modeling is really, really good. All the technicals behind it, extremely good. The presentation, all that stuff, really, really good. Where you could increase your quality is definitely in your materials. Material definition, even in a stylized element, you can really push the look and feel of each of the materials just in the understanding of your, like, what type of material you're displaying, what that roughness value entails, if it's metalness or not, just getting those elements in is going to be key, I think, for really pushing the quality of this character further. But That being said, I would leave that to your next piece. Of course, don't go back and go into forever tweaking nightmares. Really well done. See, like the skirt here, I feel like there's a lot to be. There's a lot that you could do here while still keeping it very easy on the eye, with like not a lot of detail. It just feels like it's missing something. Something is missing from there. Like this could also feel softer. Right now it feels really heavy and thick. I think of the material red a bit softer. Maybe it had a Fresnel on it, or just kind of, what's the word for that? Not satiny, but it's very thick. The material feels very heavy. The skull feels like it's maybe not getting enough of a like a subsurface type of attribute, or like a chalky feel to it. You know how they can look a little chalky? That's something as well. But dang, most impressive. I don't have much to say on this otherwise. Maybe the hair gets too dark in the core. Being able to see the definition even in the darkest areas could help. And maybe don't be afraid to texture on the scalp of the head in order to contact it a little stronger to the head itself. But again, I'm not a character artist, so. But well done. Well done. All right, virtual. Let's check out what's going on with you. I've been working on this gun for the past 2 days. This is 2 days of work. I'd love feedback on anything I've missed, what I should add, how I can improve the overall model. A lot of the tweaking still needs to be done. So I'm not a weapons artist either. You sent the weapons reference in chat. Oh, I see it. Okay. I think if you edit your message, you can actually append existing messages to what you've done. Let's do this. Okay, so summon DEFCON. Where you at, DEFCON? DEFCON. Modeling wise, I mean, it's feeling pretty good. When modeling, when you're in the modeling phase, I would suggest getting a more reflective surface. That way you can read a lot of what's going on with your topology, how things are rendering or smoothing. And I mean, I think that's the thing I would really lean on when it comes to this type of stuff. This looks like a model. This also looks like a model. Are these really references? I wonder if we should get this added to the guns library. You know we have a guns library, virtual. It's true. There's plenty of people. Looks like a plastic toy. But yeah, I feel like I am not the right person to be asking about these. To me, what I would say is the initial like look and feel is good. Oh, where did that window go? Hang on here. The initial look and feel is good, but it's hard to tell with this type of render, like how things are reading. Like I can't read any of the details that are going on here, for example. So, okay, so if you go, I'm going to just show you this really quick. So if you go to Empire Command, empirecmd.com, and if you find this resource helpful, think about subscribing or supporting us in some way. There's a lot of stuff in here, and a lot of work has gone into this thing. There is a weapons library here. So if you click this, there's a ton of stuff in here. And you can filter it based off weapon type. So if you want assault rifles and DMRs by era, pretty sick. And you can just go in and like let's say we want like let's go with sniper rifles, and we want like this one, the B&T. You click this, and then you have a zip file with all of the references from the gallery. which if you click gallery, it'll show you what's all in there. And these are all super high res. Super, super useful. This was put together by DEF CON. So shout out to DEF CON. Yeah. There's a Google Docs link as well where you can see progress of like what's being added as well. I'll just drop this in chat. But yeah, this thing's dope. There's a ton of stuff in here. There's even like attachments and whatnot. Fictional, look at that aliens gun. Okay, we got to keep moving. So I can't really feedback on this too much. I would say you should definitely get the stock on there. And then I would dump it in our Discord for feedback. There are definitely some gun monsters in our server. Oh, speaking of guns. Wait, where is this one coming from? Hang on. Okay, this one's from Mike. Would love a critique and feedback on the latest environment. This one is inspired by Lucky Luciano, the mafia boss. So the pistol has like it's really missing out on your understanding of PBR. So like this material, what is this material? What is this material? The modeling on the edges. There's a little bit of warping and distortion happening in the normals. So there's some stuff to look at. Some skewing maybe, like this is really squished. If we keep going through the shots though, let me see. There's a whole scene here. And the resolution of stuff is very, like, this back wall, is that, like, painted on as, like, a projection? I need to see how this is put together. Because there's some elements where it's like, yo, this person's really, really paying attention to the details. And then there's certain other things where it's like, okay, the modeling here, like, you can see where it was beveled. You can tell that it was a box before. You know, those types of... It's being able to model something without it being textured and it looks like what you're trying to model. That in itself is its own skill set, right? So increasing your quality of modeling would help immensely. And then from there, I would start pushing your materials. You can do both at the same time. It's just going to be a little bit slower. But like look at references, because I'm sure there's no... Marlboro box that like kind of looks like this with the hard edge here and like the wearing and aging that's happening on there, because this should be printed, right? If this is wearing at all, it's going to be like a frayed cardboardy type material, I would imagine. The scene looks pretty cool. It lacks like, what do you want me to focus on in combination with you see the bookshelf here doesn't really feel like a bookshelf. Like it feels very flat. Getting some depth in there, pushing the books back a little bit further so that there's a little bit of room in front of the books will do a lot for like really displaying this as a bookshelf and not so much like it almost looks like it's supposed to be a window here. Yeah, and the way that the detail on the wall has been applied, it's like I need to understand how the scene is put together. Because there's all types of stuff that feels strange with it, like the soft fading here and like this. At this scale, I would model that. I would model those elements and place them on the wall. And then the space feels really tight, like where this meets the edge of the wall, like it gets really, really tight there. There's some lighting going on outside. I would expect the curtains to maybe be affected by the lighting coming through. I need to turn a fan on. Hang on here. It's getting warm in here. Hopefully you guys can't hear the fan too much. But yeah, it's there's a lot going on and a lot to be like adjusted. Like right now it feels like we're in a box, right? And rooms are largely boxes. That's why I say like pushing or pulling the bookshelf in or out of the wall is really going to help with like just changing the shape of the room. Like imagine if this window space was inset or if it was extruded inwards into the space. Just gives you more to play around with. These lights might be a little high up. I feel like they would probably more likely be down here. And the scale, like this chair here, like think about the person sitting here. Look at the size of that book. It's huge. And then this chair looks like it's more of like a kid-sized one. Like it looks like it's scaled down maybe like 30%, roughly. But yeah, it sounds like I'm being extremely harsh. I'm just highlighting all of the little details that kind of add up to the scene feeling off. But again, there's certain elements where I'm like, yo, you're thinking about certain details. So it's good. It's just a matter of like bringing up the lower denominators in like your skills. So that way everything just reads stronger. You really appreciate this kind of feedback? Hey, no problem. I hope it's helpful. I'm gonna jump to the next one because we're getting tight on time. I want to make sure I look at all your guys' stuff. So Alex, just wanted your opinion on the composition. The focus is the computer. Is that the computer? This is the computer here, Alex. So it's like a little fold out thing, and then it's like typety type. You can't hear it over your fan? Okay, so if the focus is the computer, let's do this. Let's think about it. Overall composition. So everything right now is going this way, right? Everything wants you to look here. And I mean, that's fine. But that means you're going to look at this guy. And if that guy's not there, you're going to look over here somewhere. If you want us to focus on the computer, I would put the computer right here. Quite large. Literally just move this whole thing. Let's do it. I would do that. And then I would draw everything from it, right? So if you need cables and stuff that are running from it, or like wires that go up a thing. You know what I mean? So it's so far away right now that there's so much room that you need to fill. That I think that's how, like, where the focus should be. Right now, all your lighting is facing. It's like making you look over here. Bringing this up front is going to be key. You're going to post oh, nice. Tactical computer. Dude, that's cool. So, looking at this, what is your goal of this scene? What's the plan? Oh, Remy, thank you for your the extra images you added. I'm just seeing them. What's the plan with this scene? I'll give you a second to reply. Because I'm assuming it's to make an environment. Oh, Remy, if you hold shift down or mouse over a post, you can hit edit. And you can add more images. But I'm assuming this scene is to build an environment, but you're telling me to focus on the computer. And judging by this reference, I would just make this. Like currently where I feel with your work is you can build a scene. You've proven that for sure. It's where your weaknesses currently are is your PBR understanding and like your modeling and baking transition. Going from a high poly and the high poly looks good and renders smoothly. There's no like weird pinching and all that stuff. It You get your low poly, you bake it down, and you texture it, and all the materials are really reading well. I would prefer that you focus either on just this, or this thing, and save the environment for later. If you want to grow the fastest and the most, that would be my advice to you. Because this scene looks cool, but it looks like it's just turning into more and more stuff you have to figure out. When the biggest gain you can have is pushing your PBR and your technical understanding of the high to low and baking and UVs and all of those things. That was probably a mouthful. But yeah. Hopefully Project Creep. I don't know if it's Project Creep or not, but it's definitely like this is a lot to do. Oh, Remy, I think you might be right. I don't know how. Hang on. Someone edited their post, or they made a thread off of it, and it puts the thread. Project be creeping. Nice. If you make a thread off of your post, the thread will append to the bottom of it. You can see it on CG DJ's post, which is pretty cool. I don't think I've seen it do that before. Large scenes are a different kind of hurdle. Have you seen my stream? BTVR. It's a good thing I build an entire environment for lots of problem solving. If I was just trying to build an environment for a portfolio piece, oh my God. Don't do what I'm doing on stream. That's for sure. But yeah, compositionally, I just wanted to comment on that you've got these leading lines all having you look here. And lighting is not highlighting the computer. It's highlighting this based off the light direction. But yes, there are more pieces in here, so I'm going to get to those. Philip Baker. My internet crapped out, but I caught the gist of what you said. Oh, okay. If not, go back to the VOD. It'll be it's actually becoming a VOD real time, so you should be able to see it now if you really want to. Yo, this is pretty cool. Let's do some copying. The lighting already, like, to me, this is you go from reference gather, like, hopefully after looking at this image, you've got a bunch of references of the stuff you want to add to the scene based off of what you're seeing in the painting. This whole shoe thing looks like a nightmare to me. So I wish you the best of luck when it comes to adding all that shoe stuff. Maybe you're just like, I'm not doing shoe things. Screw that, man. This person builds little boats. But the environment is pretty cool. I wonder. So the phase at which you're at, you've blocked out a bunch of props. You've propped the scene. And I guess you're now starting to model the things, right? I'd be curious. So when I tell someone, hey, block your scene out, find all your references, block out all the props you think you're going to need, prop with those props, reuse the props as much as you can, and then see if you need more props. See if you can remove some of the props that you did block out and just reuse some of the other props. So it's almost like you're cutting some of the work that you would have had to do early on. Drink every time he says props. But by removing the ones that are just adding more work to you, that's like a big time saver for you. And because you're propping the scene with the kit of props that you do have, you can save time, but also figure out the composition with the props that you do have. I hope that makes sense. It sounds like I'm talking in circles, but it helps you. Helps you in the long run. What does it say? Keep chugging. Keep chugging. Um, yeah, you grab your references. You do a breakdown of everything that you think you're going to model. You make very simple primitives of them. And then place those primitives in a scene like you've done now. And see if that's enough block out assets to portray the scene. If you need more, then block out more. But maybe you can get away with removing some and only only building some of them. You know what I mean? So it's like cutting some of your content before you even have to deal with it. Are you guys drowning yet? Yeah, it sounds crazy. But I look at this scene and there's all this like little micro stuff here. Even if those are cylinders, just get them in there. I don't know if this is like a shelf or if it's really shallow, but just getting all of the smaller props that you're going to need here, get them in there. It'll help you. Overall, though, really strong scene. Really, really strong. I don't know what the scene is about yet. It looks like it's someone who likes to build boats. Did they spill something? I hate it when I spill my cubed wine from my toilet paper roll. Yeah. It's a toy workshop. Oh, I didn't read your message, man. Come on, Din. So we need more toys. But compositionally, super strong. I like the lighting direction as well. Figure out where your other lights would be. Like if it was nighttime, where are those lights? Very simple. Just request all the needed props and done. True. The problem, like the reason I'm explaining it the way I am, is it's forcing you to go through an exercise of asking yourself, do you actually need all those props? But yes, I'm lingering. So let's jump to the next one. I was gonna say, before we go, this light is great. When it's nighttime, if the person's still working, where are those lights? Where would those go? Because it's likely candles. So figure out where candles would be so that you can have a nighttime thing. Nighttime stage. Didn't manage to turn my joke into a valuable lesson. I mean, you helped me understand what the hell I was trying to say. So let's look at Waterbird. Man, I remember doing a freaking cart. This looks dope. Hey, Den, I've been working on this scene for a little while now. Would really appreciate some feedback. Look at those details. The metal maybe is a little thin here. This looks sick, though. It doesn't really read as metal. It feels more like leathery or like... Yeah, it's kind of leathery. So there's some material definition to be had. Oh, wow, those are some chunky barrels. It's pretty cool, though. Okay, so you've got these beams of wood. Think about how they meet at the end here. Like getting some gaps in there. I would actually model these separately. Just get that character in there. Like these are all like very, get that variation on the edge. And be careful with the normals. And yeah, I feel like it's more about the materials than anything. Because like right now it looks like it's got the base material on it. The normals are a little on the strong side. And all the materials look very similar. All the roughness looks very similar. And there's no like added wear or tear or aging that kind of shows how the pieces interconnect together or how they blend. Will it blend? Just getting some like grimy, drippy connecting tissue through your materials, if they want to say it like that. That cart is level 3 after crate and barrel modeling. Because like right now, this almost looks like detail lighting only, you know? The barrels don't look too bad. They look a little chunky. The rust is kind of random feeling. And the normals on the wood are really like strong. Usually it's quite smooth. Even on like the older ones. So keep that in mind. And then really think about like what is metal? What is wood? How do they look when they receive light? What's the color look like? Where the nails go? Like all those little smaller details. What is project creeping? That's a good question. But yeah, I don't have much else to say on it. Right now it looks very simple material wise is the best way to put it. Project creep. It's when the scope of your scene just continues to expand. Right? You're like, "Oh, I'm just going to do this computer." Okay, but the computer needs a reason. Like, what's the computer doing? Where is it at? Okay, I need to build a room for it. Okay, but like there's a doorway here. Okay, I'm going to build that room too. And then you're like, okay, but I need to put props in there as well. So it just kind of, it just expands into nothing, like just tons of stuff. You don't want that because that means you will never finish it. We have that in game development too. It's called feature creep. It's like we're going to add sneaking. And then, okay, now we're going to pick locks. And then, okay, but then like, I want to sneak through things. And then can I use cover? And like, but I want to climb on stuff too. And it's just like, well, what type of game are you? Like, narrow that scope down. Get the features just tight. A small set of features is much better than a ton of like really limp, wet noodle features. You know. Yes. Let's keep going here. Is this Faltera? Discord is making my usernames abbreviated again. So you're just F right now. But I think that's you. I think that's you, Faltera. Computer becomes keyboard, mouse, wires, headphones, speakers, anime figurines, desk, lamp. This is okay. Okay. I'm just gonna bow 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 bow. No more flashbang. No more flashbang. So, we meet again. Lots of work to do, but I love that I learned a proper trim sheet workflow. Let's go. It is you, Faltera, aka F. All right, so this is going to be pretty cool. I can already feel it. Now, this archway, I want to say in your scene is very extruded out, whereas in the reference it's quite a bit more integrated into the building. I would definitely push this more in because you don't want it to feel like it's placed in front of the building, right? You want it to feel like it's part of it. Proportions are very odd right now. I would stop texturing entirely and just focus on your proportions. I don't know if you're trying to like go for being really precise with this. Not 1-to-1 really? Okay. I would still, I mean, you're blocking it out close enough that I think we need to make sure that you understand like where, so if this is the top, where that means the ceiling is somewhere here, right? Because it's because the perspective didn't fit when it, yeah, so the perspective will definitely always get a little weird because scenes aren't always 3D and then painted, right? There's definitely some 3D going on in here, but it's mainly about heights. So like you can see from under here to the floor, that height is maybe like 2 of these people, maybe a little bit more, 2 and a third. 2 and a third dope road dude. And yours is like maybe 2 people, maybe a little less. So like this should maybe be up here. Look at the spacing above the archway, for example, and getting those to read scale wise is going to be really, really good, because this archway, you see the height of this person here, this looks like it's at least 3 people tall, and it looks like you have it here. I think you've got that. There's some weird scale stuff going on. It makes the scene feel everything feels like it's squished down, if that makes sense. I would yeah. I'm trying to think of the materials are cool. Look at that trim sheet. Let's go. I would just shift stuff around, start pushing things around and framing it. The other thing too is, like, you see this is a wide shot, right? But the camera's maybe at head height and it's looking upwards. If you get this camera and put it at the head height with this character and look upwards, you'll start to see like what's happening, and you can push your FOV around to try and do it as well. Of course, I know it's a concept, so it's going to be a little, it gets weird real fast with concepts. But the big takeaway is everything feels a bit squished right now. And this doesn't feel as grand for some reason. Right? If you want that grandness, the translation in 3D, if it's not happening, is to just make it bigger. Yeah, don't try and perspective match with concepts. Go for the feeling, the mood. The main takeaway from this concept is this is a big archway and you're heading that way, and then there's this little upper area that you can sneak around on, right? That should feel quite high. Everything's going up. You want everything to feel like it's going up, and this should be quite high, you know? Yeah, maybe bringing it closer could do it. I mean, I think you got the distances right. It's just play around with it. Move stuff around, and don't be afraid to like exaggerate things to get the feeling. Closer and taller could definitely do the trick though, yeah. But it's cool to see that you've got trim sheets figured out. They're not as crazy as people, I think we think about them too hard. They're not that crazy. You know what I've always thought was really weird about archways with stairs this close is why would they do that? Don't you need some lead, some space between that? Dude, trim sheets slap for sure. Okay, Lasse. Oh my god, we've got 2 more scenes. We got this. I think we've got 2 more scenes. No, 3 more. Okay, we do those 3, then we're done. Then we done. So, Valterra, before I go to the next piece, I want to say that your work, you're growing as an artist very quickly, but your work, style-wise, like quality-wise, is always quite consistent. You should be extremely proud of that. So you're growing like pretty evenly across all fronts, and I think the compositional stuff is like the next like barrier. Once you cross, you'll like super level up. Okay, what do we got here? Lasse. Oh, look at this. Hello, it's time, and motivation is still left. I would love to hear some thoughts on this material. If time and motivation is still left, I thought you were saying it's time and motivation is still left. I would love to hear your thoughts on this material I've done last week. It's my second substance designer material I've made in the upcoming personal project. And also to get more comfortable with substance designer and marmoset, always open to critique and thoughts, more experienced people than me. So this is very stylized. I'm going to stick with the stylized look that you're going with. I'm going to say that the cracks that you have here are still very like, procedural's not the right word, but they're still very simplified, and you can kind of read the nodes through what you're doing. It's kind of like when you see someone modeling something and it's very simple in the modeling, that it reads that way. You know what I mean? It reads like you can tell how they modeled it. So I can see the fractal node you're using for that, for example. When we look at the materials, I think instead of the Marmoset viewer, I would actually use Sketchfab, because it will really kind of show your material in a nice way. I think, anyways. Cracks usually travel between tiles, at least some. Oh, you mean like if a crack like traverses through, like this crack would happen and then go down this one and then meet the grout and in there? Sometimes it depends. It depends what the damage is like. But what I wanted to show you is like this area here. Pushing that in gives your material much more depth, much more volume and character. So that way when the light is casting from above, you get some cool like shadows under here. Also, I think you're doing a pretty good job with the fact that the roughness is different between these two. Or I guess we should say your gloss. Now, looking at this, you can see it's extremely simple. This is very dark. There needs to be a lot of stuff going on in here, but the general roughness value of it should be dark. This is black, so I guess in gloss value, if this was roughness, that would be white, and that would be basically like ash in roughness terms. So it's a little, there's a lot of exaggeration going on here when it comes to your gloss values. Seems to have a bit heavy purlin noise on the normal map. Yeah. I mean, I like what you're doing here with this stuff. I can see what's happening here. It's just there's just a lot to grow on. But since this is your second material, I think it makes sense. I would get this into a render where we can really see like some displacement and getting the depth in there, and really pushing your roughness. It does look very stylized, and maybe stylized is the approach you're going for. Can see a little bit of depth here, so maybe it's just because we're in the Marmoset, viewer. The AO, I would be careful with it being too dark. And like the crevices, I guess you would expect those to be darker. Let me see how this is. They're kind of level with the surface, so depending on like how flush this all is will depict how your AO is. But right now I would say your AO is a little too dark, and the AO on this generally should just be as light as the tiles, and it should be more around the edges and maybe in these little crevices, and that's it. Yeah, you want to be careful with how much your ambient occlusion is kind of outlining stuff and going really dark. But really cool. For a second material, it's pretty interesting. There's just work on your cracks, work on the depth of your materials, and really push your roughness, even in stylized work. Yeah, Marmoset Viewer does not support displacement. If needed, I would tessellate a mesh, displace it, and then put it in the Marmoset Viewer. Or Sketchfab. Okay. Second to last, incoming. I'm on my last way to finish this project, and I would love to hear your feedback from you. Also, my to-do list is adding fog cards in the background. Cheers. Oh. This is looking good, man. It's very warm right now. Let's get it in. Let's do this. Let's dupe this bad boy and just get some camera raw action in there. I'm just gonna take it and we're gonna bring in some cooler colors. Maybe not too crazy. Cause like even doing that, like if we can just, I don't know if you want to do it like this, but you can see what's happening here if we If we do that, you start to bring in some other information happening. Right now, the environment in the background is very blank. I know you're talking about adding some fog cards in there, or some cloud planes. Getting something going on in the back sky is going to be really important, I think. It's interesting because you almost don't need to see as much as you're seeing, right? Like if we were to do pull this in like this, it's already a bit stronger. I think taking the elements in the back, if you were to take those and push those down, like if this was to go down to about here, then you get, because like, how do I, if we go to this view, so you've got this high point, right? But then you also have this other high point. I think pushing it back with fog is kind of helping a little bit, but it's so bright that it really, even with the fog, it's fighting for attention with the focus, which is here. This looks like you're using terrain. I would see if you can get some decals that displace or paint something here to just really show the traveling on the dirt. You know, so we can really see like pathing and all that stuff. I almost feel like you don't need that building back there. I think if you got rid of that and just focused on it being foliage and trees or plants, it will push the attention away from the backdrop. And I would even argue like getting this, you know, bring this all down. Something like that, maybe. I'm not going to sit here and try and do it all, but you know what I'm saying. That way we can really see what's happening, in the environment in the background is not fighting for dominance with the rest of the scene, because it's like you're trying to get us to look back there, you know. When now that we look at it like this, everything is right here, right? I just want to, man, I want to do it. Hang on here. I'm just gonna grab the Bane, my Achilles. I'm just gonna go cut all the way through this. Where are we at here? No, lock this. I just push this down. It's like you just want to push all that back because the focus is here. You see how much more that actually helped? Why do you hate that building so much? Because that building is inferior to this building. That's why. But yeah, is that fire down here? Is this supposed to be some cooking going on? Yeah, get some coals down there. Get that heat up. Dude, man, what's up? Thanks for the resub, man. 35 months. It's crazy. But you see where I'm going with that, right? And then get some clouds up here. Oh man, it's just gonna be glorious. Some nice, like this can all, you can just push all this down, and just let the trees do their thing back there. Because then everything is looking here, you know. Now we're just looking here. Yeah, the rug's on fire. Is that rugs? No, this is just dirt. It's just dirt. Unless I'm missing something. No, it's just dirt. Oh, yeah, I mean, you gotta keep the fire going. You know what I'm saying? Zucker, I hope that helps, dude. I'm gonna move on to the last one here. But yeah, I would just, yeah, the whole back area I think is fighting for dominance with the rest of your scene. This looks sick, man. Nicholas, bro. I've been slowly polishing small stuff on this with some critique I got. This is something I worked on for the Art Station Challenge, but really wanted to polish it more for the portfolio. Maybe have something final to add or last or at least another pair of eyes to add something I don't see. Let's take a gander, dude. Immediately love this roof, this organic roof action going on here. The way it transitioned into this other roof is really jarring. I wonder what you could do about that. Maybe make this roof the same way you did this one. Just get them to feel similar, you know? You could, okay, this sounds weird, but you could really lower your FOV to flatten the image out a little bit, because that's what's happening in this shot. And then you pull the camera back and it'll get really like squished. See how that feels to you? Because that might feel good. It might be too much. Because like, for example, this building up here, I would take that and scale it down and push it back further. Let's see what else we got going on here. There's a lot of other elements that are all like fighting for dominance. If there's a way to balance that out, you can see over here on this side it's quite a bit darker. Like if you squint, everything is pretty even in value. If you squint here, like your sign pops out, for example. And in the concept, the sign is much more like subdued. It's like pushed into the same value range. There's not a lot of light hitting here. I would maybe remove the smoke unless you can get that to look more consistent. Right now it's not reading well. It looks like it's the block out of like what you want to do. But I like the clouds back here. That's interesting. Maybe your clouds could be a little bit lower in the background. And There's a lot of exaggeration that's happening. Like your solar panels could be shrunk a little bit just to kind of give you some of your scale back. Because you can see how like narrow and tall this building feels. And everything, all your elements are kind of wide. It's making the building wider and wider. So like kind of just trying to squish some of the elements that you can to just give it some narrowness. Let me see if we can. We do this. It's almost, it's almost like that. But of course, this is no good. This action here, gotta fix that. Perfect, nailed it. Yeah, Bray, I'm gonna miss you, man. I'm gonna miss you. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to. My music stopped, so I'm like, everything got weird. Okay. Yeah, think about your layering as well. Like I was saying, pushing that building back, scaling it down, getting that depth. Like maybe this doesn't need to be so in the shot. In the concept, it's even thinner, so it's not really distracting like it is here. Maybe if it was further forward and lower, it might not have the same effect like it is here. Like it's much thinner details. This side feels low res to everything else. Yeah, there's some textural differences between, like there's some conflicting feeling of this versus this type of detail. I think it's all right. I'm looking at the things that are distracting you. Like do your squint test. Thin these out if you need to. Push it forward. Get it a little further from the camera. Pull the camera back and then push the FOV forward and backwards. See how it feels to you. But it looks like you're right on the edge of being done with this. Yeah. I think that's it. I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff that we could tweak and adjust, but it's so close to done. You might as well just like check the boxes, make the small adjustments, and then push it out the door and be like, hell yeah. Cool. But if you have specific questions, just poke me. And Bray, post it in the critiques channel. Let's get some traction on that. On your work. Are you planning to do at least some grass and a blend material for the brick floor? So I have dirt and brick. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's going to look good. I think that could look pretty nice. Yeah, I think if you went with this smoother material and then had the brick kind of expose a bit, that could be nice. Because then it's not as busy. Yeah. Sick. Sick. All right. I should probably go. Should probably get out of here, guys. Bye, nerds. Hey. Yeah, nerds, let's go. No, but you guys are doing amazing stuff. It's always a privilege to be able to look through all of your guys' work and just have this conversation with you. But yes, thank you for hanging out, everyone. And I'll see you guys. I see you guys on Sunday. Yeah, I'm gonna be working on my scene. We'll see how far I get. We've been making some pretty good strides because we only have those 2 hours, you know. But thanks again. Don't forget to follow if you haven't. And here's the Discord if you're new. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good evening, and I'll see you on Sunday or in the Discord. Peace.